and welcome to episode 233 of our SAP on Azure video podcast. Today is March 19th, and together with Robert and Goran, we are here to talk about anything related to SAP and Microsoft. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So, migrating a 400 terabyte of SAP systems to RISE with SAP on Azure alone is a huge challenge. Doing this within 9 months, with only 9 days of blackout, is even better. But what makes this story so special is really leveraging the benefits of the Microsoft and SAP integration by implementing Power BI, Security Copilot, Power Platform, and obviously also AI. I'm really happy to have Ashish joining us today to talk a little about a very exciting project from Tata Projects. Welcome, Ashish. So before we go into the actual project and you share a little about what happened, can you quickly introduce yourself? What do you do at Microsoft?
Thanks, Olga, for inviting me to talk about this project. Hi, everyone. My name is Ashish Wadhwa. I'm part of the specialist team at Microsoft India. I take care of SAP on Azure as a motion within Microsoft. So my job essentially is to work very closely with the customers who are on their journey, to SAP Rise, and they really want our support on what is the right way to modernize, migrate as well as modernize SAP. So that's what I focus on within the organization, and of course, I work with people like Holger and a lot of people across engineering, to make sure the customer success is there. So that's what my role. I'm going to talk about Tata Projects here today. So very interesting case study which we we just went live few days ago. The case study went live few days ago. The customer went live last year, and it's a huge success. This is one of those customers. Yeah, Holger.
No, I was just saying, reading through the success story was so amazing. Because I mean, we had talked about multi-terabyte migrations to Azure in the past, and also moving Oracle systems to Azure. But what I really liked about this specific case is that it's not only this typical lift and shift that we often see, that customers saying, okay, let's move my S/4HANA into RISE on Azure, but really then a lot of surrounding things that were implemented by the customer.
Yes, absolutely. So the starting point, if I have to talk about this project, the customer was running on very different ERP systems across the globe. So it's a pretty big organization. Tata Projects, is an engineering, procurement, and construction organization, the EPC as we call it, and it's one of the top EPC organizations within India, a multi-billion-dollar organization. So they're working on different ERP systems, data spread across different locations. They have 200 projects running at a single point of time across the globe, across 40 countries. So we can imagine the kind of complication and the kind of complexity that is involved here, with regards to the data, with regards to the systems of record, with regards to the security. They work a lot on Government of India projects, which is of the projects of national importance. One of them is Parliament of India, which is mentioned in the case study. So when you're working on projects of this size, you have to be very sure about following every measure of security. This data has to be secure. There has to be right kind of identity management on the data. The data needs to be managed in a manner that the management has access to all the data parameters at a single location. So these are some things which were not happening prior to moving to SAP. So probably what I'll do is I'll just share my screen for a few minutes.
Perfect.
I'll give a walkthrough of the case study, and that will give better clarity to our users, to our viewers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you were saying, so before the project, they were all running SAP on-premise in multiple different SAP systems, actually.
Yes. So they were on one of the compete ERP systems. They were on one of the closest competitors of SAP, if we can call it. I know most of you will understand what I'm saying. So they wanted to move out of that ERP system and wanted to have an ERP system which can be as mature as SAP. If I can say that. So this was a greenfield project. For SAP.
Well, that's even a bigger achievement because it's not just a SAP migration; it's really in between the system and products here.
Oh, yes, and interestingly, the different ERP systems that they were using, those were used across multiple joint ventures. of Tata Projects, multiple
Okay.
entities of Tata Projects across the globe. So that is why you will see a mention of disparate ERP systems, 5 different systems that were being used. So the job at hand was pretty tough. We had to consolidate the data across all the systems into a single ERP system. Migrate this to a single S/4HANA system. And of course, they were using they were already using a lot of Microsoft products, which actually helped them to do a lot of consolidation. But at the same time, they were not only looking for this migration, but they were also looking for a complete modernization of their SAP landscape. The way they wanted to run SAP was, I would say fantastic, because the vision that the CIO of, Chief Information Officer of Tata Projects had, they wanted to have a, good clarity on where the data is lying. They wanted real-time access to data. Some of the data were lying in different languages. There were so many contracts at a local level, at a different plant level, a construction level, which were not visible earlier. So he wanted to make these things pretty clear and wanted to have a visualization layer built using Power BI. Power BI is one of the products they were already using, but they wanted to enhance the use across their entire landscape of SAP as well as non-SAP. So yeah, so that was one of the areas. So if we come to Tata Projects, Holger very nicely articulated that we managed to bring 400 plus TB of data in 9 months. So we started off this project in somewhere in mid to late part of 2023. We went live on SAP S/4HANA somewhere in the mid of 2024. So it was about 9 months of project. And it was a greenfield project, interestingly. And greenfield project going live in this time duration itself was a humongous task, I would say.
But just to double check on this. So really, like 9 months. So in 2023, the customer had no SAP system running. And then within 9 months, they migrated to Rise on Azure and consolidated all their ERP systems.
Yes,
Wow.
that's right. That's right. Yes. So that's a whole complexity involved, and this is one of the, I would say, largest or one of the most complex EPC installations that we have across Asia. So so that this is the complexity which is involved. If you see the numbers here, I mean, 6,500 employees working across 40 countries, 200 projects at any given point of time, and these 200 projects are really complex projects, and some of these are international airports, some of the largest international airports being built across the globe, semiconductor fabrication facility, Parliament building in India, which is one of the most important buildings when it comes to government functioning, energy distribution across Africa. So there were a lot of there was a lot of complexity involved when it comes to handling the projects. And of course, various languages. There was a lot of diverse languages and formats of design documents involved, the contracts, invoices, schedules, reports, etc. So it was all spread over. So they definitely.
That really adds a lot of complexity, because obviously all these projects are ongoing. While in the background, you're working on consolidating and migrating all these different systems to Rise on Azure. And then I guess afterwards, once the migration is complete, all the project teams need to learn different tools again. So I guess you also had a lot of trainings going on to help these 6,500 employees to work now with SAP and everything.
Yes, of course, it was a long cycle, and it took about like 9 months, as I said. But one point, Holger, among all these 9 months, if you see very clearly, the blackout period was only 9 days. I mean, that's the most interesting part. And of course, we were using a variety of SAP tools for doing the migration. We were using, from the data perspective, we were using Azure Data Lake. So we had set up a data lake as well on Azure, where we consolidate the entire transactional data, the entire organizational data, and it included a lot of structured as well as unstructured data. So we really had task at hand to consolidate the entire data within a single system.
So data lake was the migration kind of technology behind the scenes use. I correctly understand you.
Yes, yes, yes. It was
Wow.
a very and kudos to the SAP team. No, SAP was involved very deeply in this project. No, we had our Rise Acceleration team. No,
Hmm.
as part of the Rise Acceleration program that we have within Microsoft. No, our architects, our engineering teams, the partners. It was not done by a single partner. This was spread
Hmm.
across no, multiple partners no, of SAP who were doing this project. So yeah, a lot of complexity involved in that sense. Yeah. So coming to this one, so unifying data streams, I think this was, one of the first important task at hand. So, given the amount of complex data structures involved, and we had to provide data access to, across all the 40 countries, to the management. And it was almost a real-time data access that was required. So it was very important to consolidate all the data into a single scalable cloud platform. And Microsoft Azure, I think this is where Microsoft Azure was able to differentiate between all the hyperscalers, because it's not only from the perspective of setting up a data lake, but it is also from the perspective of setting up a greenfield project used on a HANA database. I mean, we are able to provide 180 certified instances. So customer has this comfort that if they have to upgrade the instance size in future, so they can easily trust Microsoft to provide the next available instance.
Yeah.
So these things were really at back of their mind when they were making a decision to move on Azure. But yeah, a consistent user experience was important here. No,
Hmm.
the customer wanted scalability for their experience, no, the deployment processes, and of course, I'm going to talk in a very little while about AI technologies also that they're using and they're planning to use now. So yeah, that's also one of the areas. Uh,
Can
okay,
I quickly
so
ask, since this was a
yeah.
greenfield project, why did they, well, they selected Rise with SAP on Azure, not Grow, because I guess they still had some um, processes, or maybe the data was too big. Do you know why Grow was not an option? So S/4HANA Public Cloud Edition?
Yeah, so they went with private cloud edition, because of
Hmm.
the complexity involved. So, I'm
Okay.
sure there are, they would have considered Grow as well, because that
Hmm.
gives a very standard way of, implementation. But given the kind of, multi-tenant architecture that Grow has, maybe it was not suitable for Tata projects, in
Yeah.
this
Okay.
case. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, no, let's come to some of the products and some of the integrations that were involved in this project, along with the Microsoft services. So, one of the first, it was Azure Databricks. They wanted to set up a data lake to store the entire raw data in the
Hmm.
format that was needed. And one thing that Tata Projects really liked about this product was, because the analytics can be run on need basis. So you don't need to run the analytics engine at 24/7. So only when you have to generate those reports, that is when you can run those analytics and pay only for whatever you're running the analytics for. So that was a good commercial proposition, which the customer kind of really liked, and they adopted this for their entire data processing workflows, and they were able to improve a lot of efficiency while doing that.
Hmm.
And of course, when you talk about visualization, Power BI is something their entire organization was very comfortable with. So they have been a Power BI user. So it really helped that they wanted to use Power BI across the organizational functions. Of course, they use some of those SAP services also, which I'm not going to touch upon, but no, they definitely use Power BI very extensively across the organization, for their data visualization.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I guess similar like what you
yeah.
said, I think they were using Power BI also before the SAP migration, I guess.
Yes.
So
Yes,
yeah,
that's
so
right.
I think that's also providing a little stability then, if you
Yes.
migrate from a non-SAP system to a SAP system, but you can still use Power BI for your analytics cases. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And then I think one of the very good use cases of that we have seen for Microsoft Power Apps also. So that
Hmm.
also came into picture here, because there are a lot of sites which are very remote, located
Hmm.
in different parts of the globe, may not have the right kind of connectivity, may not have the people may not have access to the laptop at all given point of time. So we actually help them build some low code, no code applications using Microsoft Power Apps, for very simple processes like filling up the timesheets,
Cool.
filling up their claims, for the coordination of the on-site workers, on their local sites, and multiple other use cases. So Power Apps is also something, and they were able to integrate it beautifully with all the systems,
Nice.
which
Yeah.
were running.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
So
not
that
only
that boosted also additionally their productivity. I mean, the overall, yeah, great.
Yeah, it's a big improvement in productivity when you don't have to go back to your location where you have internet access and then you write back to
Yeah.
your systems and you can do it on the fly. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's generally, I mean, I sometimes feel, I mean, I use SAP in an early part of my career. I was working at a plant location like almost 15, 17, 18 years ago. I was an SAP user myself. So I mean, I imagine myself, today, if I would have been there, would have been so easy. You can just
Hmm.
do your operations, complete your operations, use Power Apps to fill out your timesheets, to fill out, all the maintenance activities, to fill out, all the coordination activities, and it becomes so simple for you. You don't have to, access the entire, GUI every time and
Yeah.
make those updates. Yeah. Coming to the next one, and I would say, from Microsoft perspective and from the customer perspective, probably the most important one, which is security. So one is, no, they are using Entra ID. No, they wanted to consolidate all their identities and, manage their access, using Azure Entra ID. So that's a call they took, no, from the perspective of security, number one. And of course, they decided to use Sentinel as well as Defender XDR, no, to have a complete SOC, where they can also manage the threat levels at every layer. So basically, XDR they are using, to manage and remediate threats, which are happening in the real time almost. And Security Copilot is helping them to, detect as well as remediate those threats. And when in one of the interviews, I recall, the CIO of this organization, Tata Projects, Mr. Rahul. So he mentioned that they have a vision of, reducing the mean time to detection and mean time to remediation, across all the levels. And they were very serious about it, from the word go. So that's the reason they decided to go for, no Defender XDR, no Entra ID as well as Sentinel. And these work very well with all the solutions that they have internally. And they were able to set up a comprehensive SOC. Yeah, so that's on the security side.
Yeah, cool. And I think, I mean, there is obviously a huge opportunity if you have this greenfield implementation, if you start more or less from scratch or have a restart, that you make sure that security is there from the very beginning, that you really make sure that Sentinel is connected with your SAP instances, that it works in the context of RISE and stuff like that. So I think
Yeah.
this is a fantastic opportunity. Yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And of course, no, when customers look at security, they always look at security from a very holistic manner. They don't only look at a solution, one particular application or SAP. They look at the overall organization when they talk about security. And this is also important because they are handling customer data. So no, they're not only handling their own organization data, they are handling the government data, they're handling the customer data. And this is something that helps them, maybe get more business in the market also, because
Yeah.
they have to show to their end customers that this is the security layer that they have, and this is how they're managing security. It becomes very important, from their business perspective as well.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And no conversation is complete, without talking without discussion on OpenAI. Now, imagine a customer who has already, created a foundation layer, on data lake. He has already done the, hard work of setting up the complete, data lake, on Azure. So all the foundational elements are already there. It becomes quite easy after that, with all the LLMs available from Azure, OpenAI, the latest LLM models can be used. Those foundational models can be used for, generating different use cases and, create improving your productivity even further. And this is exactly what the customer is doing now. As we speak, there are multiple projects, being discussed using Azure OpenAI, and one of them is related to generating a response. I cannot discuss the details about that because of the confidentiality, but yeah, they're generating, some internal responses using the GenAI capabilities, which helps them, secure more business. So yeah, that's probably something I can touch on.
Cool. And but I think by leveraging these 400 terabytes by using the Azure the Azure Data Lake as a foundation for all the data, I think that's the foundation to have good AI projects, because obviously good data in, then we have potentially good answers with Copilot or with an AI. If you have a bad data situation, then yeah, bad in, bad out, basically. But with this approach to have this one data lake and this reset almost, I think that's a perfect starting point as well to create some cool Azure AI projects there.
Yes, and they happen to be one of the first customers in the EPC space who actually adopted M365 Copilot also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are M365 Copilot customers, and they have already tasted tasted how AI can work and how it can enhance the productivity within your organization. So they have the sense of that, and this really helped them to test out more use cases on generative AI as they are doing. Yeah, so that became a big factor, and security Copilot, of course. Security Copilot is something that they're using extensively to improve the security. So that's also another use case of AI that they're using to enhance the security even further.
Oh, cool. Great. I mean, this sounds like a really cool project. And what I also didn't know actually is that they went live already last year, right? That's what
last year, yes. Sometime in mid of last year. Yeah, 2024 is when they went live.
So it's really nice. So they have experiencing this now for quite some time. So hopefully everything is working well for them. But it's cool that it's not like, okay, we just went live, let's have a success story. But no, it's really looking at the project, evaluating what went well, probably what didn't went well. I guess there are also some good lessons learned out of this. But it's really cool. So do you know, well, you probably don't or cannot talk about next steps, what they're doing. I guess right now they're just happy with their landscapes, but I could imagine that they have lots of new ideas now, what they can do next.
Yes, of course, a lot of new ideas are being tested out. When you know that they have their foundational layer lying on the data lake, and the way they're bringing the data now, the entire pipeline has been set up. So the most of the hard work has been done in the last few years. So it's easy for them to try new use cases, and of course, with the new models coming up, with the new capabilities which Microsoft is introducing every day. So yeah, this is going to help them a lot.
Fantastic.
Cool.
And I don't want to steal the thunder for the next next podcast. Probably we'll discuss about few more use cases in the next podcast as well. Yeah,
sounds good.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. That's a nice teaser. No, and as you said, I think their project is really inspiring. So yes, I think it would be fantastic to have you back. Maybe to talk a little about how has it been going in a year, or I don't know. Are they still happy? Are they? What other things have they tested out? So sure. So take this as an invitation to come back to our podcast once the project has evolved.
Absolutely, invitation accepted. Happy to come to your channel, and by the way, I'm a big fan of your channel, Holger. I mean, for anybody in the SAP on Azure community globally, if you really want to learn about SAP on Azure, so this is a place to be. I think this is like this is 233rd episode. Yeah, I mean, great going on that, Holger.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Cool. Well, Ashish, thanks for joining us. And as said, I'm really looking forward to having you back on our show to then talk about maybe another customer or about the evolution of this specific project. Thank you.
Absolutely. Would love to come back. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Goran.